Yeah, we live. Already
Yeah.
know once that music is off.
Once that music is on, you
it's
know what time
on.
it is?
But like I truly like I feel it. I know people are gonna make fun of me. I've been
I've
told.
been feeling the spirit.
I'm telling you, I'm entering it. I told Rob the other day, I get tears in my eyes thinking about it.
He's in a new spirit.
I am entering in a new season of life.
That's good.
But along with that new season, like there comes adversity, there comes resistance. And we know, like, whenever we experience resistance in life, like resistance, a lot of times when you get resistance, that means stuff is moving.
Yeah.
Something's shaking. Think about it. Something shifted in your life when you start to feel and encounter resistance. And it's tough being a man facing resistance because people think that, oh, okay, being a man, like we just get up, go to work, come home, and like chill. No, it doesn't stop. Like being like a man, a spiritual leader of your household, there's so many different facets and dynamics to being a real man and like leading your family and being and not just leading your family, like leading your community.
So one of the issues is, right, like we see resistance as a bad thing when resistance actually means momentum, right?
Yeah.
So if you see resistance in life, that means you're probably on the right track. If
Absolutely.
you see resistance to people's opinions on you, that probably means you might be saying something that's hitting home, right?
Yeah.
So anytime you see resistance, it's probably going to be followed with momentum.
Absolutely.
So like, just think about working out.
Yeah.
It's resistance, right?
Yep. Resistance makes you stronger.
Resistance weights, right?
Man, look.
But that's actually the thing that's going to propel you even forward.
Absolutely.
When you don't have resistance, that's when we should worry.
Man, look, I'm telling you, my coach told me one time, he said, listen, when I ain't talking to you, that's when you need to worry. If I'm getting angry at you and I'm yelling at you and I'm pushing you to move forward, hey, you're in a good place. But when I stop talking to you, when I stop applying that resistance to make you stronger, hey, you need to really start worrying. You need to start panicking because that means I'm washing my hands with you.
I was telling somebody that
Coach Stinnett
this morning during a situation, and I was like, the problem with someone saving them that situation is they don't feel the pressure, they don't feel resistance, and because if they don't feel that, they won't change, right?
Yeah.
So that resistance will actually be the thing that propels them forward and cause them to change. But when you always pillow that, or when you always soften that, then they don't see the need to move forward. It's always because they don't feel it.
Listen, you're exactly right.
It don't hit them, right?
So that's the same way as raising a child, right? Somebody said, I don't know the words, how they used it, but they were talking about how right when they raising a kid and how there's a new way of raising a kid where they call it it's like non-confrontational parenting or something like that, where you're like super calm with your kids and like you allow them just to be a kid and like when they're doing stuff, you just tell them over and over again, hey, stop that. Hey, stop that. Hey, stop that.
They do that at the daycare.
Like
I don't know about that. It's called
I don't know about that.
It's called something like basically re-engage now.
I don't know about
that.
But
basically, like you see it at the football field, right? Like Milo was just in that game.
I don't know about that.
And you'll hit a wall of resistance, right? And it will either mold you or fold you, right?
Yeah.
So in that little league football, you hit that resistance. Some kids can't handle that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, we're losing. And you can see that just play out on the field. Like they'll start like making small mistakes.
Yeah.
They'll start crumbling. But it's actually good for them to feel that because one day they'll break through that.
They call it gentle parenting.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, my example was, I was at Kroger's a couple months ago, and it was look, I'm telling you, I was at Kroger's the other day, a couple months ago, and not the other day, a couple months ago, and I'm shopping. I just got done, working out. I'm just getting some food.
Hey, we're phenomenal men. I'm telling you,
where did that come from?
Man, look.
That was random.
I know it was.
Look, they don't make them like us.
Man, I'm telling you. Listen, I got a story, though. I got to tell you this story. Listen.
I just came out of nowhere.
He's in his element right now. But listen, so there was a family. It was like a family of 4. Mom, dad, and 2 boys. One boy was in a shopping cart. He's probably about 5 or 6. When I say he was roaring through Kroger at the top of his lungs for 15 minutes straight, like you could be on one side of, you know how big Kroger is, right?
Oh, yeah.
You could be on one side of Kroger and you could hear him screaming through the aisles.
Yeah.
And they came out and we kind of like crossed each other and the parents were just going about it. Look, they was going about it like they had headphones on or something, like they had AirPods in or something. And I mean, he was screaming, roaring at people. Like he would look at people and just be like screaming. And I'm thinking, I'm like, that is not normal. How do you allow that to happen? Point being is, you allow that to happen. I don't care what in your mind you think that that's okay. But I promise you, there is no consequence for that kid. At some point, there's going to be a consequence, and it's not going to be by you.
We taught that at FOS yesterday, and it said, spare the rod, right? Spoil the child, right? So that's what we said at FOS was we went through Proverbs 13. And when consequences are taken away, so like at FOS, they hate consequences, right?
Absolutely.
It's like, oh my God, they're giving me consequences. But that's actually the thing that saves you from yourself, right? So when you're met with that and someone gives you consequences or discipline, it actually should be a thing that's embraced because it's making you better. You actually discipline out of love, right?
Yeah.
You don't, it's not, hey, I love you, so I don't discipline you. It's I love you enough to discipline
Absolutely.
you.
And discipline doesn't always take the form of like spanking. I'm just saying like right is right, wrong is wrong. And I don't think a kid should be standing at the edge of the cart like screaming at people.
Hey, you make eye contact with him?
Man,
I would have talked to his soul.
Oh, I wanted to
Hey,
say
I'm
something.
telling you, I would have. Hey, we made eye
look,
contact.
if I wouldn't have worked out as hard as I worked out that day, I would have said something. I just didn't have the energy, the extra energy to start going in and being like, "Hey, look, dude, you need to check your kid, bro." Like I didn't want that smoke.
You could have said something to him directly.
That's what I'm talking about, dude. Check your kid.
No, to the kid.
Said something to the kid.
Yeah,
Nah.
yeah. You got to do it slyly. Because if you don't, look, you know how they turn out.
I almost thought about just going over and start barking at him
That's
like
what,
a dog.
Hey, that's the next level.
What?
that's what Zoe,
Dahmer.
that's what Zoe be doing. He
Oh,
be
I
giving
said
us a look.
Dahmer.
Look, I'm thinking about that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Think about that. His upbringing, and I'm not saying that it was a dad's fault, but the greatest part of that whole series was when the dad took accountability. You watch it all? Or
No, I didn't watch it
I
all.
didn't watch it.
Well,
Did y'all see that debate though?
I'm telling
I'm
you.
trying to figure out how you have enough time in the day to
Did you
watch
see
all the
that debate?
documentaries you watch.
Do you think
I'm
kids should
confused.
dress up as Jeffrey Dahmer?
I mean, they dress up as everything else.
No, but they're saying like he's a
there's
real
big
monster.
debate though.
This ain't no.
They're saying like, why would you have your kids dressing up as like Freddy or Jason?
That's a double standard. It
Yeah,
doesn't
what's the
matter.
difference? I know
They
that.
saying these
Yeah.
ain't real. They saying Jeffrey Dahmer.
Regardless, it
There
ain't
has
real, but
been
we
real
know.
stuff. The
Yeah,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre was real.
but we know what we know. We know just because it's not real, we know what the backstory of it all
That's
is.
what I'm
It's
saying.
about
Yeah.
violence,
People
killing
want to pick
people.
and choose.
Yeah,
So like it's a double
just seen
standard
that
because people are
debate.
picking and choosing.
I seen that debate. Yeah,
No, but you're right. I get it.
Man, people want to
So, but what they're doing is they're picking between the greater or the lesser evils, right?
yep.
That's what it is. Like
Amy
my
said-
daughter dressed up as Chucky.
Amy said no
Seen
one
that.
should
She
dress
looked
up as
nice.
him.
Man,
Dahmer?
that's some sick stuff.
As
It
Dahmer?
is okay. So look, so
it's a glorification though, right?
you look. So going back to
That kid looked just like him too.
He did.
Man,
Did you see the kid?
I was like, he might be the
The
next
kid,
coming.
man, look.
so going back to it. But Nick, did you watch it?
No, I ain't watch stuff. I don't watch stuff like that.
Do we got to start watching so we can have conversation pieces?
Mm-mm.
Is that what you want, Rob?
I ain't putting that stuff in my spirit.
Well, basically the dad.
Hey, y'all don't watch that stuff.
Hey,
Don't invite that stuff into your
yeah,
house.
facts.
All right, don't watch anything about the history either.
Hey, I'm telling you, we gonna fist fight. Me and my son.
It's evil.
Me and my son.
So you got to think
At some
is
point, 18, 19, 20, we
check,
gonna
so
fist
check
fight.
this out. Take out the narrative of the evilness that happened. Right, the
Mhm.
story was a story of a dad who tried to fight for his son throughout his whole life. Right.
Oh, the
So-
dad was really trying to fight for him.
Yeah, definitely.
What made him like that?
I mean, so
Some
that's,
they
that's
say
what I'm
something
saying.
happened to him
So
or
man, if y'all would have watched it, y'all would have.
I mean, I watched a little bit of it. Which part to watch? What are you talking about? The documentary or the real?
I just
or
see
the Netflix series.
It's been number one on Netflix for like 3 months.
That's what. So the dad just was in this continual pursuit of trying to fight for his son, right? And he wrote a letter to the judge the first time he got locked up, and the first time that this came about, when he was allegedly, I guess, whatever, touching on whoever.
And animals too. He was cutting animals open.
Yeah. But his dad did that as a hobby, as like a taxidermy. Like that's a real business. Right?
Oh, I didn't know his dad was a taxidermist.
He wasn't, but that's what I think that's what they did. Like,
Together?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
he wrote a letter to the judge and was like, basically like, my son needs help. Like it was a cry for help, and he still had the letter where he wrote it to the judge and said, "Look, he don't need to get out; he needs treatment."
Yeah.
So
There's a bunch of stories that play into.
When you say the difference is this though in Dahmer than Chucky or Texas, is there's victims, families that are still alive.
Yeah, they're still experiencing.
So they're seeing the glorification of people putting this guy on this pedestal. You know, like just say if you got killed, and I have to see people dress up as your killer.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the evilness of it. Is these people? I think this happened in what, like the 80s.
You know how much money his dad? I mean, not his dad, but you know how much money the family's making because of this.
Oh, I know. They said the victims don't get paid nothing.
They're capitalizing off of this.
They said the victims' family don't get nothing because it's like a free thing. Like it's
all. I bet they.
It's
do.
all,
in some way, shape, or form. These countersuits are about to start rolling in.
It's all public information
from pain and suffering because that's emotional damage. I don't care what you say. You're putting out something that's causing emotional damage. They're gonna take them to court. I promise you that.
Oh, they're gonna get paid.
They're gonna get paid.
You can believe that.
I ain't seen it. It looked evil when I seen the previews. I was like,
Man, yeah,
I mean, it's a lot to go through. It's a lot to.
Yo, can you turn my headphones up a little bit, bro?
Yeah. So.
I did watch a show the other day. Have y'all seen The Mule?
Yo.
Have y'all seen that?
No.
Have you seen that?
I ain't seen The Mule.
They had this girl. She had to do 7 years in this prison. They made her be a drug mule.
Wow.
And she brought back 12 pounds. She brought back 12 keys of cocaine. And they caught her on the airplane. But it was all because of this guy she met in one day. And he had her go do it.
It was called what?
It's called The Mule. She was a mule for the drug cartel.
I might have seen that, I think. Maybe a little bit of it.
That was a good show.
That sounds like the one show. What's that Mexican?
Narcos?
Yeah, no, the other one. The woman.
Rosalda Blanca?
Yeah.
The woman that did the show, Nick. The one that went.
Oh, he's talking about the Queen of the South.
That was good.
The Queen of the South, yeah.
I never finished that. But hey, listen.
Mendoza.
We talk about how nowadays things are so bad. But really, the more we dig into it and we see it, do you realize, like, recently, they just found probably one of the craziest, most body count achieved serial killer. I don't know why I said
wasn't it like 80?
Achieved. Yeah, 70 bodies.
Who?
In a well.
Somebody's
in Iowa.
The daughter told on the dad when he died.
She's been telling since she was a kid. They called her crazy.
He had his kids take the bodies and throw them in the well.
Wow.
Throw them into over 70
Where
bodies.
was this at?
All women.
I seen it online.
In Iowa. Look it up. It's just happened over the past week. They just discovered it.
The dogs hit on it.
Yeah, the cadaver dogs. So all around their property, they got dead bodies. And the daughter's been trying to expose her parents since she was a kid, and they always called her crazy.
Yeah, wow. That's nice.
So like that's what I'm saying. So, but we see it nowadays more than ever that when people tell the truth or expose something, the world is going to call you crazy. When you say something that is the truth, the world is going to call you crazy. Who sent me to Dave Chappelle last night? Was it you, Rob, the other day?
Yeah, I did.
Dog, like Dave Chappelle said the same thing.
Hey, it was deep. Wasn't it?
How they look the industry, and that's what I'm saying. Like over this past week, people have I've got messages where people are just being hateful comments because I stand up and I still stand up for 90% of what Kanye West says.
They call him Yeezy.
I stand up for it because, like, I'm not saying I'm some celebrity, but I've experienced it, and I still experience it, even if it's on a small level. That people try to control you. These businesses will try to control you. Like there was a point to where I had businesses that try to tell me what to wear, when I wore it, and how I wore it. Think about that. Think about how deep that is, because they was paying me.
Man.
You know what I mean? Like,
so is the business wrong in doing that though?
No, you gotta watch it. I'll send you a video. The video where
I think yes. It depends on. Listen, don't take it out of context, but when you try to act like you own somebody, then yes, that's wrong.
But that's what Dave Chappelle said. Dave Chappelle said, look, these contracts and the wording and the language that they use in these contracts, it says that they are allowed to use your image or likeness in the perpetuity of all the
perpetuity
universe.
Means everything. That's
what I'm saying.
They basically have your soul. So here's the thing with Kanye West. People be like, oh yeah, he lost $6 billion total. He's not a billionaire no more. Like, but bro, he's free.
Yeah. Hey, I was asking somebody this morning. So now that's this thing like no free speech, right? Yeah. Like they say, like free speech, like it
ain't free.
Yeah. But I'm like, man, I remember when the KKK came to Owensboro, man, and they said they was allowed to do that based on free speech.
Look.
Like, so I was like, so I thought there was a thing as like free speech, or you can say like what's on your mind, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember when the KKK had a rally in Owensboro, Kentucky, and I think they're allowed to have rallies like all across the nation based on they can have free speech, right?
Yeah.
But the moment that he said something that wasn't in the box, it was like we need to get rid of him.
So listen, I'll put it this way. Yeah, you can have free speech when it comes to things that ain't on media. Meaning, you can go in your community and protest, but as soon as you take it online to reach the masses, hey, when it's controlled by certain people, hey, it's a whole different ballgame.
So here's the thing that I wanted to talk about this a couple weeks ago. Did they prove him right? His argument.
You read all the comments, they just say, "Look, I'm making him look smarter."
That's what I'm saying. So the exact thing that he was talking about, right? So the week before, he did the Drink Champs interview, and I watched it all 3 hours and 15 minutes. I watched every single part of it. The week before, he did LeBron and Mav's show, right? The barbershop that they didn't put out because they felt like that it was hate speech, basically, right? Yeah. So whenever he went on Drink Champs, he basically just echoed that message of like, look, if you say the wrong thing, they will silence you.
100%.
And I'm telling you, right after that, that's exactly what happened. Yeah. They try to silence him for what he said. Like these big corporations, and like Jew's been doing his research on it. Like, what's the percentage of like the? And I'm not saying any group, but I'm saying like
I'm sure it's changed, but they're saying like the Jewish community own like 85%.
And it's a good
of the biggest platforms in the world, like CNN, NBC, Universal Studios, just some of the largest corporations. And that's what Kanye's talking about. When people say DEFCON 3, they're thinking like all out war, like we're dropping bombs on people. DEFCON 3, by definition, means to be prepared, have readiness, like raise your alert about something. And that's what he's doing, is he's calling people out and he's raising alert. Like, look, these people are controlling everything. Example being, think about this though. This is all I'm saying. And if you agree and you're cool with this, then I think it's crazy. Think about this. I'm gonna ask you a question. Would you allow? And I can say this because I used to be a drug addict. Would you allow? So say you and your wife split up, right? She's chasing the world and you're living a different life. She got a new man, and this new man was allowing your 4-year-old and 6-year-old to tattoo on him. How would you feel?
Oh, terrible.
So when he called that out, guess what they called him?
Crazy.
The fact that
he said, I'll be crazy. Matter of fact, I'm calling
one thing I love that he said was this. He said, y'all called me crazy because I didn't want a heroin addict around my kids.
Yeah.
He said, but y'all uplifted that relationship, right? The other thing that he said was, my wife is a Christian. We had a Christian home. He said, but the moment I leave that home, and he said, look, this is one thing I did love that he said. He said, I'm still shepherd over my home.
I know. Yeah. That's right. Look, and he said, look, Robert Kardashian. He said, look, he raised them to be Christians.
And he said, look, as soon as I get pulled away, what is she back doing? She's on magazines with her butt out. And this is the top thing that I love, he said, and he's pointing out the hypocrisy of the media, right? Like he said, the top 5 songs on Apple all have to do with violence, drugs, sex.
Hey, go back.
N-words.
The top 25 songs.
Okay, so the top 25 songs. So the hypocrisy is you can say any
songs.
And this is what I've been watching an interview, and it was like you can say anything against your own people, right? Like I'll kill you. We'll kill the ops.
We're gonna spin the block.
We'll spin the block. We'll air it out. She's this, she's that. And even someone wrote on your post, I seen like, the number 1 song was WAP, right? And I really like that because it can be anything like negative and derogatory for these kids. But the moment that you say anything else, it's a problem, right?
Yeah.
It's not. It's at the top 5
It's
songs.
cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it.
Taylor Swift.
Okay.
No, he said rap. He said top 5 rap songs.
I got you. I was gonna say Post Malone's on there, but it's a feel good
song. Type top 5 rap songs on Apple.
Top 25 rap songs, same thing.
Yeah. So you just see like the hypocrisy in, what he's saying and what other people are saying, right?
The same kind of music he has made himself. Man, at last I checked, man, he made Jesus Walk.
Yeah, we ain't heard that. So I just think, like they want to control the narrative, right?
Has he made a song? I mean, I'm not saying that. He has talked about like.
He just talked about his like. Look, he had.
But now that he became a Christian,
where he's talking about, he was talking about. They were saying he made a song about Kim K before he even married her. But I mean, listen, his music has substance. He's not talking about killing people.
You know what he said early on in 2004? Drug dealers buy
Jordan's
crackheads buy crack.
And the white man gets paid off for all of that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, listen, like I said, I'm not saying that everything he says is right. But I mean, like, if you can't see the facts behind it, like the truth behind that, you're blind. You're blind. If you claim that, like, I'm just saying, if you have some bit of intelligence and you actually break down what he's trying to say, like, man.
That's why they hate Same reason why they hate Charleston White, right?
Yeah.
Like they hate him because what he says is real.
Yeah.
They hate him because what he says is authentic. So like they took off Kanye's Drink Champs interview. The next day they put up Lil Boosie's interview.
Yeah.
Charleston White said, Lil Boosie, you had a 16-year-old arrested that killed 9 people. He was like, who are you to talk about anybody? You had a serial killer working for you.
And people glorify it.
And, just the whole hypocrisy of that life is, and we're not saying like Kanye is perfect. Of course he's not. But what he's speaking on now, man, like, besides like, sometimes he does go too far. But
he goes on these rants.
I think his brain works in a different way.
But guys, let's not get it twisted. Yeah, he probably goes too far. But I'm going to tell you one thing. We all go too far behind closed doors. I promise you that. So don't get it twisted and act like our lives are perfect.
Don't become legalistic.
Just because we're not in the spotlight. What are you doing behind the spotlight?
Hey, you know what I like?
Don't become a Pharisee.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
what I like?
What's that?
He's willing to stand on it. He's lost $2 billion, they said, in one day, and he ain't changed his tune one bit.
Hey,
there's some people out here, they won't even lose a $500 a week job.
Hey, piece is priceless.
They'll change their tune, right? They'll change their tune off of a job at Target.
Hey, listen, I ain't even gonna say that, but I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. I work for a company here in town, and I'm not gonna say who it was, but I'm gonna tell you the power of that, the power of control, because I knew that I had to take care of my family, and I was in this. I felt like I was in this cycle or a box that I couldn't get out. But man, I had a certain employer that said racial stuff to me, that body shamed me for my size, and because they dangled a paycheck over my head and I needed it at one of the most vital times of my life, I went along with that.
That's right, because you needed it.
Because I needed it. Because I was desperate. And now that, like, don't get it twisted. I need money. Like yes, money helps do a lot of things. But at the end of the day, man, like, I can't I can't allow somebody to treat me a certain type of way because they're paying me. And that's what he's saying. He's like, look, I'm not gonna keep letting these people bully me, the industry bully me, because they hold this check over, or they make, they have me in these contracts in perpetuity. I had a contract where it said that, and I took it to somebody and it was like, look, when you see that word, they said, when you see that word, hey, you better run.
Look at Dave Chappelle. Like, you gotta watch it. That Dave Chappelle is basically breaking down what he
didn't get paid off the Chappelle show. Period.
And they told him what they say about Chappelle. He went crazy, didn't they?
Yeah, they said he was crazy because he walked away from a $32 million contract that Comedy Central was trying to.
So I think that's why you always have to be careful. I think that's why you always have to be.
Maybe they came back with a counter offer and was like, "Hey, we'll pay you $300."
That's why you always have to be careful of the narrative in the moment, right? Because they have so much control.
Oh, especially when you sign the contract. But here's the thing: just like Jew in that situation at whatever company that was, he had to do it because he was desperate for the paycheck. We put ourselves in these situations to where we're slave to that pay.
That's what they did. That's right? But they.
So that's what he's talking about.
$2 billion though,
he said that.
That's it.
$2 billion.
2 billion in one day. But that's what he's talking about, like being a slave to it.
Come on,
and
man.
He's talking about the black culture, saying like you're doing this, you're still in slavery because you're working a job. Then yes, it looks totally different than our history slavery, right? But he's saying like we go out, we work for certain groups of people that treat us a certain type of way, then we go spend the money on those products, put ourselves in debt, and still continue the cycle of slavery just to flex on each other, just to flex on our own culture.
Yeah. I even like what he said about Lizzo when he said, why do they call it body shaming to say she's overweight? He was like, now is, he was like, my trainer said something about her. He said, then they canceled her. He said, when it's a proven fact.
They canceled who?
Kanye West, he had a trainer that I guess said something about Lizzo, like how she's in all these magazines and, like how that's unhealthy to be that big.
Right.
And they canceled her like, oh, you body sham Lizzo. And he was like, wow, it was a proven fact that, hey, this causes diabetes. This causes health problems. Like,
except everybody.
This causes, everything else. So like he even got in trouble for that. And they said like he was hating on Lizzo.
Yeah.
So I just think like you have to get to a place where you are free, right?
Yeah, where you're not swayed.
You know what I've told somebody? Eventually it's going to come to the point where even in churches they censor. Like if you're not saying the right thing, if you're not aligning with the right agenda, they're going to pull your sermons off a line, right? They're going to try to silence you and censor you to eventually you're only going to hear what the masses want to hear, right? So you're not going to be allowed to
all it is just slowly
say anything that you want to say. Is if you agree, you can push it.
Yeah, all it is just slowly just chipping away at like the freedoms that we so graciously have in this nation, right? So freedom of speech, freedom of religion.
What happened to a healthy debate?
That they don't want that, right?
Or a disagreement, right?
Yeah, there is no more we can agree to disagree. It's either you're going to say what I want you to say or not. Amy's over there. Amy believes everything she sees online.
And that's
let me see. Let me go.
He could buy Skechers if he wanted to. What are you talking about?
I mean, yeah, because these people, they're looking at him like he's controversial. Like,
man,
you can't control him no more.
I like what...
So all I'm saying is, like, people say if you support Kanye, I can't rock with you. But you can look at it vice versa.
I like what Russell Simmons said. He said, I don't know how his companies cancel Kanye. He said he told y'all 3 weeks ago he was canceling y'all.
Yeah, he said he didn't even.
He said, of course. He said when he quit Gap, he said he gave Adidas a notice and said, you next. He said now all of a sudden they canceled it. He said he's been canceled.
It's like when them employers will say, look, we need to sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, I'm quit.
Yeah, I already quit. Like, what do you mean? I've been to quit. Have you seen me around?
Hey, that's what they said Adidas and them try to do. They said they try to get us. Hey, we canceled him. He told you 3 weeks ago.
Here's what he said that one of his biggest problems was. He said he refuses to hand over Yeezy to his kids and have all the work that they've invested into this and have other people and board members tell them what they can and can't do with their business.
That's it. Look, he's training his daughter to run the business.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you so Amy, all right. So that's like y'all building up one of the biggest construction companies in the world, right? The Martin, whatever you want to call it, Martin Brothers Roofing Worldwide, right? You build it up. And then you have somebody come in and say, this is what you can and can't do.
They basically want you to be a politician, right?
Basically, on your own business that y'all put in sweat equity, that y'all shedded blood, sweat, and tears for. No, I'm sorry. No, not me. You ain't going to come in and tell me I can't do after I sacrifice, after I've been up having sleepless nights, after I've made myself sick.
Well, think about this. They did it to Steve Jobs.
They
fired Steve Jobs.
They did it to the owner
of the company that he created.
But that's what I'm saying. These companies do that, man. Like,
well, it's also when you go public, it's just not a company either, though.
So that's why.
Hey, you keep saying that.
Hey, that's why Chick-fil-A.
Do you think Elon Musk is hearing that? No, Elon Musk.
He's a shareholder in his company.
I know, but he calls the shots, bro.
Bro, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So if you put yourself in desperate situations, let's say that he needs to sell a certain percentage of his shares. As soon as it gets over at 50% mark, guess who has to say so?
Exactly.
Hey, I think that's why,
Elon, we can't hear you no more, Elon.
Yeah,
I think that's why Chick-fil-A is a private company.
You got to go sit down.
They try to do the same thing to the owner of Chick-fil-A. they asked him about what he thought about marriage, and he said, like, hey, marriage is between a man and a woman, right?
Yeah.
And then he was like, well, what about the other? And he was like, I just said, I believe marriage is between a man and a woman. And they tried to cancel him, right? Like, they was like, oh, Chick-fil-A's, hey, Chick-fil-A's not all-inclusive. Chick-fil-A's this, Chick-fil-A's that. The problem was they couldn't cancel the owner. Chick-fil-A got busier when he said that, right?
Yeah.
Like, because he stood on, that's the problem is we live in a world.
Rob needs to be sponsored by Chick-fil-A.
We live in a world, like you said, you just can't even say what you want to say and what's on your mind because so many people may take offense to it or so many people may say, well, that's against me. Well, if that's just what I believe, like, that's just what I believe. And you have you can disagree with me. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to watch what I put out. You don't have to listen to me.
Yeah.
But it's how can you cancel Kanye, but at the same time have the number one show on Netflix is Jeffrey Dahmer. And you can have a Jeffrey Dahmer interview on YouTube. And you can have a Jeffrey Dahmer shows all over the world, but you cancel him.
That talks about killing people, that like literally shows how a serial killer's mind is working. I mean, like, to me, that's mind-blowing.
They might inspire the next serial killer.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, other people, look, it happens in history. You have these copycats that try to copy certain things that people have done. So you will want to ban somebody who's speaking up against things that shouldn't be happening in the world. They're finally standing up, and then you demonize him for it.
And here's the crazy thing to me.
What's that?
On Twitter.
Why are you saying ooh without talking about it?
On Twitter will be full of pornography, right?
Twitter's different.
But take down the most basic thing about COVID-19.
Elon just bought Twitter, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
It's going to change now,
it's about to change now.
But think about that. You can find porn all over Twitter or Facebook or probably. But if you say anything about COVID-19, they'll fact check you.
Yeah.
But they don't find no porn on there and take it down.
Man, it's different. Look, George just said this, right? I want to talk about this. All lives matter. All lives matter. Everyone's. Remember recently when Kanye West wore a shirt that said White Lives Matter and it created controversy?
Yeah, I remember. What's the point he's trying to make?
He said all lives matter. Everyone's. Yeah, so Kanye wore a t-shirt that said White Lives Matter. I don't see what the big deal is. A couple years ago, Black Lives Matter sold out. I mean, I don't know if they sold out, but that's what you've seen everywhere, right?
But just like
I don't agree with just one side of it. However,
no, I don't agree with one side of it.
So what it is you have to complete the sentence, right? But just like I heard somebody say this. They said, so matter of fact, it was Charleston. He said, so you expect for that man not to teach his kids that their lives matter, that their mom's life matter, right?
It's just common sense.
When he said white lives matter, right? So he said, what if his kids came up to him and said, well, Dad, does my mom's life not matter since she's white? You know, and what I believe what it is white lives do matter just as much as Black lives matter, right?
Absolutely.
When people try to paint this narrative and they try to put you in a box, that's when it becomes an issue.
Man, that just causing more division.
That's exactly what it is.
So listen, we have extremists that are pro-Black and are pro-white. I got into an argument. I mean, not an argument, a debate with a guy the other day. And I'm like, and I mean this. I mean this to the core. And maybe because it's my geographical region, but I'm just telling you, I see it across the board. Oh, yeah. And I said, I'll share it in my testimony, and I ain't ashamed of it. Who do you think the first person to ever put a gun in my hand was?
Man, that's it.
My own culture.
Yeah.
Who do you think the first person that gave me a pack when I got out of jail? My own culture.
That's it.
So when it comes to that, don't it show you that the cycles continue to be repeated? That like when it comes to the toxicity of cultures, like the Black culture is one of the harshest on its own culture. Like we flex in front of each other and then get angry.
You put the stats up on fatherless homes, right?
Hey, like 76%.
Man.
56 million Black kids in America have an absent home. I mean, have an absent father. Yeah. Absent. 56 million. That's bigger than that's more than majority of the states.
Yeah, he said, just saying, what was Kanye's intent and was it twisted by the media? His intent was saying that white lives matter. Yeah. If whether I put a period or a comma on that should be, I should be able to say how I feel.
Hey, you know what he was going to do though?
And I'm not saying because I said this that the opposite is the latter, right? I'm not saying that because this wall matters, that wall doesn't matter, right? And so many people live their life looking from that through that spectrum of saying, okay, well, this is right, so that has to be wrong. And that's not always the case. Yeah. You can't do that all the time.
And that's why I think you got to be careful about the media.
There's two sides to a coin.
Because you can easily see, like, that's why I don't watch the news, right? Because you can see that CNN paints a certain picture.
Oh, yeah.
You can see that Fox News paints a certain picture. And by whichever one you watch, the picture is painted differently, right? So, like, even with George Floyd, like, everybody was like, oh, Kanye said this about George Floyd. But if you dug deeper, you would have seen that Kanye gave $2 million to George Floyd's kids.
Come on.
Did you know that, Joe?
Say it again.
Like, they was against Kanye saying stuff about George Floyd, right? But Kanye was the one that gave $2 million to the daughter when he died, right?
Yeah.
So that's why, like, you have to be careful about the social media and what they paint, because it gets to a point, like, I love Juice's post when he said, well, what did he say? And nobody even actually would say.
Listen, nobody
like,
could
it was
answer
like
the question.
Comments.
It was like anti-Semitism.
But Jew would always say, well, what did he say?
Yeah, well, what exactly did he say?
And no one would even say, like, what he said.
Oh, DEFCON 3 on the Jews. Well, what's the definition of DEFCON 3? Ready, alertness, being aware, raising awareness. Those are the definitions of DEFCON 3.
So you have to be very...
I'm just saying, but think about it, though.
But you have to be very careful, right, to join the masses and what everybody else is joining in on, and do your own research on the topic. You know what he was going to do with those shirts?
Jim Jones said, "Look, this Kool-Aid's good. Take a drink."
You know what he was going. You know what he was going to do with those shirts? They said at first,
what
he was going to give the money to actually help Black people, because the one thing he was against, he said, was Black Lives Matter, the organization.
Yeah.
How they funneled $10 million and bought a mansion in California.
Oh, Black Lives Matter with that bag. They lived it up.
So what he said he was going to do with the shirts was really make an impact and give it to the community. But people reversed that and they lost it in the messaging, right? And
so think about that.
That's it. That's important though too. Your message, look, how you communicate, right, is important.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is I believe that he is so far ahead, and I can show empathy in this area, because his brain doesn't work as fast as his mouth doesn't work as fast as his brain does.
Yep.
So he has 10. Like I see with you, Jewel, like when you're talking, you're having a whole nother conversation at the same time you're having a conversation in reality, right?
Absolutely.
So he tries to explain these things, and he
it's hard to explain.
I'm telling you, that's what that's, and I have compassion for him, because I know a lot of people say that I'm aggressive, when in reality all I am is just passionate.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm trying to explain something, I need for you to understand this.
You need to feel it.
You know, one thing he said, how did my statement against the Jews make so much news, but 14 kids die in Chicago every day?
And they don't make no news.
He said, but you never see that on the news.
Hey, I'm just telling you, people wasn't arguing about that. Y'all ain't fighting about that.
They ignore that. 14 kids die in Chicago every day. And then I love what he says, like, because he stands on it, like Planned Parenthood. Man. Like, he calls it out in every interview. He said, you want to know the number one cause of Black deaths in America? Man. Planned Parenthood.
That's right.
Tell me.
Genocide.
He said, this is genocide. He was like, you want to know what's killing more Black kids than anybody? Planned Parenthood. And he never apologizes for it. And I knew once he started saying that.
Look, it's a war.
I knew. I was like, oh, they're going to get him out of here.
Oh, yeah. It's a war.
Because he can't be, because normal people ain't going to fight that fight, and normal people ain't going to, they're going to kind of cave to the pressures that be.
Yeah. But a lot of people are scared to say stuff because that check, right? Just like Jew explained earlier, when he needed that check, look, you will almost suppress what you know is right.
Yeah.
Especially
and at that point in time, I tucked my tail and I was like, look, I'm providing for my family. It's the first time, like, I really started to face, again, that resistance or adversity. And it did make me stronger. But some people never see the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. I thought at that day, look, in those times, I was like, one day I'm going to work hard enough to where I don't have to have a boss that can treat me like that. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't care if you was joking or what, but still, it affected me, And so anytime I asked any of those questions, like, tell me what exactly he did say or what this meant, like people would jump from one thing to another.
Yeah.
They couldn't stay on topic because they had nothing to stand on.
Yeah.
You have nothing to stand on. Yes, again, I know Kanye flies off the handle sometimes, but like again, I know that there was one point whenever I knew something in my head, but I could not articulate my words.
Oh, that's good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. You couldn't. It got lost from here to your
being
heart,
able to,
and then it's coming out of your mouth.
To being able to explain it, right?
It's lost in translation.
And that didn't include, like, so for me, again, I know I ain't no Kanye West, but I've experienced it and I still experience it. But whenever it comes to that, think about the added tension when you got paparazzi in your face, when you got paparazzi in your business, when anytime you pick up, think about this, when anytime you pick up the phone, headlines, Twitter, whatever notifications, it says Kanye West.
You would go over. Look, you
know what I mean? Like,
look, you would start smoking.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, people don't add that part into it. They're like, oh well, he signed up for it. Oh well, he did this. Man, listen, miss me with all of that. Like, you can't control. I mean, like, to an extent, yes, you can control your destiny, but there's certain factors that come into play that you have no say so or you can't control.
Yeah, they're going to
so you just got to do with what you got, what's in front of your face. So yes, a lot of this stuff is coming from anger, but again, this is coming from a man where you had a heroin addict allowing his 4-year-old daughter to tattoo on him. Like, I would be irate too. I would be frustrated too.
He got all the kids' names tattooed on him.
Sitting in front of,
different.
And it's not even like they had history. Like, this guy barely even knew the kids, bro. We're talking about like under a year, like 6 months. You got all this stuff going on, and you're causing separation of this man's family. Like, yeah, I'm sure some of his actions led to the cause of him and Kim separating. But he said, like, y'all wanted that to happen. Y'all wanted my wife back.
Yeah.
The enemy wanted from my house.
That's right. Look, the earth wanted her back.
The earth, y'all. So no matter all this stuff that y'all say, y'all wanted Kim K to go back to the old Kim K.
Just like when Jonna would ask me my opinion, like when he was really trying to get her back, she was like, "You think he's going overboard?" And like I said, "Nah, like he's trying to get his wife back." She was like, "But ain't that kind of stalker?" So I was like, "That's his wife." When he was sending like a whole truck of flyers and, you know, like still like, I ain't divorcing you. I'm like, well, what's he supposed to do? The problem is what's normal with the world isn't really normal, right? Yeah. So when he says it's normal for a magazine to ask my wife to walk with her butt out, that's normal to the world, right? Hey, Kim K, stick your butt out. Well, that's not really normal, and that's not really right. We just have accepted that, right?
Man, so
if I send you the picture of the screenshot of how much, and again, this is nothing against the Jewish people, like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, these are facts.
Hey, don't cancel us.
So you can take it how you want.
I mean, we only got two viewers.
Cancel me all you want. I'm just saying, like,
don't cancel us.
Hey, listen.
Don't cancel us.
Hey, listen.
We holding on by a thread.
Well, listen.
We got 5.
Come on, man. Don't do that. But listen. So if I send you the screenshot, so you can pull up on the computer of Jewish owned.
Let's just say it's 95%. It's a lot of them. It's a lot of the major ones. But here's the thing that we talked about, though, Jew. Look, listen. If this is the world, right? 3 people, right? Mm-hmm. And me and you own 95% of it, who's gonna say how it goes?
We got to say so.
And
look,
so Nick can't come in. Nick can't come in and say what he wants to say. He can say whatever he wants to say, but we're gonna shut you up. We got the power to show them in a different light.
Overrule you.
That's what I'm saying.
And this is so when he said it, I'm like, okay, it's starting to make sense. And then when I seen a podcast of this comedian, he's like a big Jewish advocate.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how they have these group texts of the masses of Jews.
Yeah.
Doctors, dentists, people in the acting industry, the music industry. He said they all vowed together to shut Kanye down.
That's what I'm saying. That happens on every single level, even here in Owensboro, right? There's a group of people who say, "What's what?"
Oh yeah, in Owensboro, absolutely.
Hey, they say, "Look, this money needs to go here because it needs to funnel down here, right?
Yep.
We want this here,
allocated here."
Look, and there's some people that will talk about it.
Yeah,
I promise you. Look, they're putting out text messages. You know what I'm saying? Conversations that has been had. You know, because here's the thing: if it's a public thing, if it's a you know, like if it's an open bid, right? Let's say that there's this big job coming up and it's an open bid. When in reality, the smaller men ain't got a chance.
What do you think about? Listen, we seen it in the marijuana industry. We're seeing it in our hometown right now. With the casino, the betting house that they're going to build out at the
that's what I'm saying.
So like, somebody told me,
but dude tried to do it 30 years ago. The guy that owned the Executive Inn, he wanted to do it 30 years ago.
He was an outsider.
Oh, they hated him.
It's the same thing they locked the mafia up for.
That's what I'm saying. They hated him, bro, so much that they was like, "No, we will not let you do this."
Yeah.
So he went right over there. He went right over across the bridge and did it.
So the goal always to get away from all this is freedom, right?
Yeah.
So you have to place yourself in a life that you can be free enough to say what you want and do what you want and can't be controlled
by
other people.
Look,
so I think that's the place that we all need to strive to be to is, hey, I'm free. Like I'm gonna share my opinion and I'm okay with the consequences and I can't be bought, right?
Yeah.
You can't silence me. You can't blackball me. Like I'm gonna still say it and I'm gonna stand on it, but I'm gonna be open to critique and other opinions as well.
Yeah,
absolutely, facts.
Yeah, so we didn't want to make the show just all about Kanye, right?
I mean, no, it's the bigger picture, man.
It is like, the bigger picture.
It shows adversity of a man who's going through a transformation. Like people act like Kanye West has been a Christian for 10 years. Like he's barely walking. Like he's only been doing this for a couple of years. You can see the battle
actually play out, right?
Yeah, and people don't even.
He's been for a very long time.
You can see the battle play out. In his mind
I'm talking about where he's publicly confessing, like,
but
hey, look.
I'm saying, look, go all the way back. His mom raised him right.
Oh yeah,
you can tell. You know what I'm saying? He was always not just that, but like
that was one of my favorite songs.
Oh, Jesus Walks is probably one of the top 5 songs in history. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just for me, for a bunch of people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you can see he's always professed being a Christian.
God, show me the way, because the devil's trying to be down.
Jesus, well, I guess that beat wasn't real.
And people look, and he was pulling people that probably weren't even Christians who singing that song.
That's what I'm saying.
You talk about Jesus, my record won't get played.
Man, how long ago was that?
That's what 2002, 2003.
Man, come on, man. Came out? He's been talking about this for a long time. So if you can see it for the face value and still be oblivious and act like you don't see it and understand, then maybe you're crazy.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you who the boss of it all is.
Who?
Kris Jenner. That's the big boss. That's the
I heard about that.
That's the one running the show.
And guess what? Somebody behind her is running the show.
Yeah, but she got a lot of say so.
Somebody in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Think about it though. Who was Kris Jenner before the Kardashians?
Rob's.
Listen, what I'm telling you.
Rob's wife.
Who was Kris Jenner? She was nobody. She was nobody. I didn't know her.
Yeah, but she helped build a squad though.
I did not. Rob, all I'm saying is I did not know her.
You didn't know her, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, man, come on, man. Like, there's always somebody pulling the strings, and I've seen it time after time. Kanye's talked about it. Ray J's really coming out about
all of them
about what she did behind the scenes.
Running back?
Huh?
What was the running back that she was with?
Reggie Bush.
Yeah, he's talking about it too.
Oh, I'm telling you, I know. So if you don't, man, you're crazy if you don't think somebody's telling her what to do or what she advising her and telling her what she should and shouldn't be doing.
They got that perpetuity.
Man, they got that perpetuity.
Hey, that's what Ray J said. He said, "Who you think signed off on the sex tape?"
Come on, man.
Kris Jenner.
Kris Jenner. Look, that's what he was talking about. He said, "Who do you think set up the meetings? Like, who do you think picked the places? Who do you think picked the videos?" He said there was multiple videos shot. And he said she picked that sex tape because of the angles.
Kris Jenner was like, "Yeah."
That's what he said. He said because of the angles of how it looks and how it made Kim look.
Kimberly,
man, she's a master. So you're telling me that she brought that sex tape up, that she created, like that she not created that
she saw it.
She knew.
But that's what I'm saying.
She knew.
She didn't just do it alone, bro.
No,
I know that there's probably a team behind the scenes. Like, look, we see that people like the Kardashians because of OJ. What happened with OJ, right? It's like, we're going to make a show about y'all because y'all are unique. This is what you need to do. Who do you think behind Hollywood is?
So why that? But look at what she did to her husband.
So why do you
her
think
husband turned into a woman?
But even that, like, I think when you watch Hollywood,
think about how dysfunctional that is.
To decipher what's real and what's fake, right?
That's it. Like, man,
so every year there's a manufacturer, like, oh, Lamar Odom.
He's a crackhead.
The other dude.
Hey, that family does something to men.
No,
the people say it all the time. They say,
I think it's all to keep the name alive, all the brand alive, so you can
relevancy.
The Kardashians, they do something to men.
Hey, somebody made a comment. She unfollowed me too. She made a comment and said Kanye is just trying to stay relevant. And that's when I was like,
I need to be relevant.
That's when I was like, look, I'm deleting everything. Y'all
missing. Why are you deleting everything?
But that's when I deleted all my posts because that's not what I stand for. Is to be arguing.
What's not what you stand? You don't have to argue. Did you put it out there to argue? Did you?
No, I mean I have valid points, but I'm like, look, for me at this point, listen, what I'm saying, Rob, for my mental health, and at this point,
you shouldn't have
listen. What I'm saying, you're not understanding what I'm saying. At this point, in this past week. As like, I think spiritually, how I've stepped into a new season and a new stride. Right now is not the time for me to be doing this. That's a personal thing between me and God. So whenever I posted it, I was fine, but something happened between the time I posted it until the time that I thought about deleting it, like spiritually. And to me, I heard it from God, like, this is not the time. So you can't dismiss me deleting something, not that I don't stand on it, because you're hearing me confess it right now. I'm just saying spiritually, between me and God, something happened between that. And he said, this is not the time for this right now. For me and my mental state. If you can't respect that and stand on that, like, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm just saying right now I'm in a good season. And I felt like at that point in time, the Lord spoke to me at 5:45 a.m. The Spirit spoke to me and told me, like, hey, look, this is not the time for that. I didn't delete them. I just archived them. Right? And that's what it is. It was distracting me from other things. I was already on a roll. Me and Rob's been rolling lately. I mean, rolling. And I started spending you even said, you're like, man, why are you spending so much time worrying about that stuff? And it's not that I was wanting to argue with people. I had a point. I had valid points. But at that point in time, I realized that this is not the time to be arguing with people. Yeah. When we got, again, I just had three people that I'm directly close to that got murdered in this past month. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big deal. You know what I mean?
I gotta put that up there. Hey,
What's that?
That's why Chloe's so fine. He said, George said that Chloe is OJ's daughter.
Chloe is OJ's daughter.
Yeah. They've been saying that.
Really?
Look, that's why she's different.
Man, Chloe don't be in the mix like that.
Chloe's, she's different.
Hey, I'm just saying, Heaven, watch out.
All right, so look, Halloween coming up.
Man.
They keep saying they're saying that we're one-sided. Look, we support Kim K.
We're one-sided about Kim K?
Yeah, like we're just bashing her.
No, I'm just telling you, like when my wife, like, look,
hey, her picker just might be off. You know what I'm saying? Look, so hey, some women look. I did see when I seen Skeet, I was like, man, what? Hey, he got. There has to be something that is attractive about him.
He's funny. Or the other.
Or the other.
He's laying it down. But listen, all I'm saying is, bro, no.
I just think
as a father. So let's turn the tables.
Oh, Heaven said, go ahead. By the way,
let's turn the tables. Man, who are you? Let's turn the tables. If it was a woman, so let's turn the tables. If Kanye had custody of the kids, and he had some random drug addict, ex-drug addict, I don't care if she's a drug addict or ex-drug addict, woman over being provocative around those kids and doing stuff that you just shouldn't be doing.
Giving the kids a tattoo gun and saying, here, just
tattoo all over me. Man, they're going to call Kanye crazy.
They're going to be like,
they're going to be like, get CPS over there now because Kanye's crazy. So he's in a catch-22. He can't win.
So what Amy said was, y'all blamed the mom.
No, we did.
So here's one thing that I always think.
Yeah, have we blamed the mom at all?
And Kanye has
what is she talking about?
And Kanye has said this.
Come on, Amy.
He said, Hulu, you won't win. So what I was saying was, every year for ratings, there's going to be some manufactured thing, right? So every year you can see it play out.
Let's look at this.
If you go back on every season, there's
look at the stats.
There's a manufactured kind of thing that keeps people tuned in.
There is constant, like my wife, she loves the Kardashians, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's her thing.
Keeping up with the Kardashians.
All I'm saying is, and she'll tell you this. I'll ask her every time, why are you watching this stuff? Like, why are you watching this stuff?
Yeah. So it keeps you reeled in to the thing, right?
Yeah, but by you being reeled in, whether you believe it or not, subconsciously, you're picking up on certain type of things, watching that. What you take in.
So what does Kanye say about his kids? He was like, I don't want my daughters thinking that's the standard of beauty, that you have to hang your butt out for attention. And they call him crazy, right?
You said
they call him abnormal because he thinks that way.
You said it was her mama's fault for that man turning into a woman. I said it was Kris Jenner's fault. I said, what is she doing?
No, so what I always think...
I said, look, they got to be doing something strange for a man, an Olympic gold medalist, right, to come out one day and say, look, all right, I'm a woman now.
Hey, look, I'm going to tell you this. I know this for a fact.
I've always been a woman.
I know this for a fact, that she accepted him cross-dressing.
Well, my thing is...
when he would walk around the house dressed up like a woman.
What does Jay-Z see?
So she allowed that to happen in her household, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, if we're one, if the Bible says that we are one, we're called to hold each other accountable also. Accountability just doesn't come from a man.
Man, I know.
So you're telling me that it's okay, that it was okay for him to walk around the house dressed up like a woman,
man,
without her saying something?
Tuck it.
Come on,
I think
man.
Here's what we always have to
I'm blaming her.
I think here's what
She's
we always
responsible.
have to be
we all play a role.
careful of in the celebrity culture, right, is what's real and what's manufactured. Like Jay-Z said, fame is the most powerful drug known to man. So celebrities are people that are famous will manufacture things to stay relevant, right? So you have to be careful of, I even think, what's real and what's Hollywood manufactured. So a lot of that stuff I question, like, was that even real?
Yeah.
Or did you just manufacture that? And I think that's what Kanye was actually battling. Like, we don't just do things for the ratings. We don't just do things because it sells. We don't just do things to stay relevant. We are Christian, and we stand on our Christian values and our Christian principles.
Evan says she barely watches that show, Jew.
All right.
She's just letting you know. That's
okay.
What she said.
I bet she's watched every single season.
So now you got girls that think Kim K is the standard of beauty,
Nick,
right?
The same reason that you listen to every
I know.
podcast on Hip Hop Life.
I'm trying to stay up to date. So you got to...
Who listens to every podcast on Hip Hop Life?
Pastor, the Reverend?
She's talking about all hip-hop. So you got to be careful, right? Like, because Kim K is these little girls' standard of beauty.
Hey, I can see Kim K come out. Look, here's the thing: when you take it's all across the board, right? Look, what you put in is what's going to come out. So if you watch a certain show for so long, you are going to begin to. It's just like the mafia shows, right? Mm-hmm. If you watch all the mafia shows, but sooner or later you're going to what is that called, Nick? Whenever you not act out, but what is it called?
Hold on. What are you trying to say? Say it again.
Once you watch so much of something, eventually you're going to start to gravitate towards that. It's going to come out. So eventually, manifest. In your talking, that's the word, manifest. That's right. It's going to manifest, right? Yeah. So if you watch so much of the Kardashians, it's going to begin to manifest, and that's not just with the Kardashians. That's all the way across the board. Right, so if I'm a football fan, if I love to watch football, eventually I'm.
Why are our wives trying to revolt against us?
I watched Snap.
They're on a revolt.
I watched Snap, then I had a dream my wife cheated on me. I said, "I wish you would. I'd kill you."
She said Kim is highly intelligent. Jessica Lee said Kim is highly intelligent.
Yeah, she is.
Just a law degree, man. Listen, we never said Kim was dumb. What we said is if the tables were turned and Kanye has, after they got divorced, Kanye has some random woman in there letting somebody tattoo on their kids.
That's it.
Or letting their kids tattoo on him.
They call him crazy.
Bro, they would call him, CPS would have been beating down the door.
Why is he getting called crazy? Because he's fighting. Because he's standing up and saying, look, I'm not just taking this. No, you're not going to do this. No, I'm not. No, this is not okay. I should have a say-so. Right? Because here's the thing. They're not showing that he's still going to his daughter's basketball games.
So Jesse said, "Bring her in."
That's why I said,
add Jessie Lee.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Yes, she can.
What's real and what's manufactured?
Rob, you can bring Jessie Lee in on live.
Because the same time they would say that, you would see Kim K and Kanye
what software we use?
At a basketball game together.
It's called StreamYard. Do you know how to use it?
Yeah, I do. I'm about to show you how to bring them in right now. Let me go to the pages. Am I administrator?
You just got FaceTime.
All right, I'm calling you right now, Jessie Lee.
Well, I just think.
All right. Let's see.
We've been talking about this forever.
They want to smoke today. I'm not understanding this.
I'm just saying, listen.
Kim K fans.
We're gonna call each one of y'all and let y'all give y'all's own perspective.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Kim K's the greatest.
Hold on. Just give us time. We're hitting Jessie Lee up right now.
She is fighting for social justice, though. I do like that.
Yeah, man.
When it comes to certain ones.
Hey, what's the whole point of fighting for social justice if your kids are going to be dysfunctional, doing X, Y, and Z because you ain't focusing on the house?
Look at all these celebrity kids. They go wild, don't they?
Wild. I'm calling Jesse Lee right now. All right. You're on live, 103.7.
Amy can't answer. She's at work. Heaven's on.
You're on live, 103.7. Trust the Process podcast. We have Jessica Lee on the phone. What's up?
I'm on the treadmill working out. I can't talk to you. I was kidding.
I mean, we gonna back it up.
All that stuff.
But my point in all that is, y'all are defending Kanye so much without really realizing. Y'all said earlier, Kanye's trying to teach his kids about business. Have y'all looked up him in for background besides her TV show?
No,
yeah, she's a hustler.
And her bad actions, which we all have.
Yeah, she's a hustler.
We all have. No, I'm just saying, but is she showing her law? Is she showing her law degree, or is she showing her butt?
Is she showing her assets?
Her main business is Skimp, which is a swimming, whatever, underwear bra.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. No, listen. I'm not downplaying what Kim is doing.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I'm not downplaying what she's doing.
But Jesse, one thing he said was, I forgot what magazine it was, but her whole butt's hanging out in the new magazine photo shoot. And he said, for my Christian wife to be influenced that way, hey, we just want you to hang your butt out for views. He said, I don't want my kids to take that as normal, that to be on a magazine, you have to hang your bare butt out.
Again, you're taking two people who are going through a divorce, you're listening to what he's saying.
But is that normal, though?
Hold on, Nick, let her talk.
Hold up. At one time, he was okay with him. He married her, didn't he?
No, he told her to stop doing that.
That's right.
When he became a Christian.
Okay.
Listen, Jesse, we're not disputing and saying that Kim is totally wrong.
He told her to stop doing that.
The reason why is because we're defending Kanye is because he's under so much scrutiny for something that he's just trying to stand up for. And everybody else is...
That's what I said earlier, but Rob looked over that comment.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't see that.
What I said? What was it?
No, so we're going to... All right, so let's break down Kim.
Listen.
Go ahead.
Listen. I said, none of us truly know these people. All we know is what the media lets us know.
No, I know Kanye.
So,
I know Kanye, too.
We can... Y'all think y'all...
Go ahead.
So we can't ever give a true, honest. We don't ever give a true, honest perspective.
I agree. I can agree with that. I know Kanye listen, I'm not saying Kanye, like we said, he's not always right in what he says. We're just saying for the face value, the certain big topics that are going on right now, he's right. I'm just saying
I'm not dogging Kanye.
And I'm not dogging Kim at all.
I'm saying make the playing field.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, well, we thank you for tuning in live with us today, and hopefully we'll see you next week. And we are grateful to see that you are on your fitness journey. Let's go. We're working on the app right now, so we're gonna come up with a fitness app for you guys. All right.
I'm at 2 miles.
All
right. Call Heaven. Heaven says she's on her way to the doctor. She said he don't want to.
He don't want to what?
I don't know.
Come on,
man. Call her.
Man, she knows I'm about that smoke.
Man, call her. Get the smoke. Get the smoke, Papa Indian. Get
Trust
the smoke.
the Process podcast is called
her butt
Heaven.
pics. Her butt pics is what caught his eye from the jump. Of course, it's always the assets that you get intrigued by. But he said, "Look, I'm gonna take this."
He became a Christian though in the process.
So I guess
he was always a Christian.
So y'all saying you can't change a hoe into a housewife?
Man, look.
But that's just like he.
I'm just saying, that's what it sounds like.
Ooh, you can't turn a hoe into a house.
No, but I'm saying that's what people are portraying.
And as he got older, he changed his perspective.
I'm telling you,
maybe she didn't want that lifestyle.
That's what I'm saying. Some let's be like, all right, let's go there then. Some women just don't. They get a taste of it and see they don't want that real Christian lifestyle.
Man, that's it.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
And you know what he's trying to tell her? You're more than that.
So what is wrong with a man telling their wife that
you're more than hanging your butt out?
Hey, look, I'm gonna pull you up. That's right. We live at this standard.
Man, I'm sorry.
We ain't gonna be doing certain stuff.
Listen, Kim K. I'm saying when I think I can't help it. What the media and her have portrayed to me.
That's right.
When I think of Kim K,
that's it.
She's a sex icon.
And so what he tells her is you're more than that, right? And he gets called crazy.
I knew I was hearing that noise. Yeah, he gets called crazy because he says, "Look, we ain't gonna live like this."
So that's all I'm saying, guys.
We got 4 daughters now.
That's it. Yeah. We gotta live differently. Amy said, or her and Ray J's video. Look, it might have did something to him. That's what I'm saying. But look,
what were you talking about? What did you say?
Kanye knew. Amy said her butt pics is what caught his eye from the jump, or her and Ray J's video. But here's the thing: Kanye been talking about this. Kanye said, "Look, I'm gonna marry Kim K. I'm going to." When he made those old music videos, it was probably 3 years before they got together. He said, "Look, that's the woman that I want."
Look, he had a video with a woman that looked like Kim K before he even married her.
That motorcycle video.
Come on, man!
I forgot what it was, but that's the thing is he knew who he wanted, and once he got it, he said, "Look, we're gonna live differently. Man. We're not gonna be what the media wants us to be." Because you got think about that battle, bro. She's had the spotlight for how long? How many years?
Yeah, for you to be able to come in and try to change her life.
So think about the battle.
Yeah, he's crazy. All right, I agree.
So
he's crazy.
So think about the battle.
He's crazy.
Think about the battle he probably fought with Chris in, who sold her daughter's sex tape. Right, that's a fact. She signed off on it, sold it out, put it out.
Her mom did.
Her own mom did. Ray J said her mom looked at 3 different ones and picked one, which is crazy.
At 3 different places.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? So think about the battle Kanye is probably fighting, and Kanye was one way. Hey, I don't want you to be this anymore. Like,
think about how.
Well, and the mom saying, "No, you need to do this. Like, we need to do this."
Think about how crazy this is. All right, we glorify the Kardashians, right?
Yeah.
The mom watched her own daughter have sex with another man multiple times.
And sold the tape. So tell me that. Help me understand.
So listen,
why I should think differently about Kim K. And I'm saying I know people can change.
Let's address this. Jay Lee said, so Kim says she's a Christian too, is not, or is she falling into sin? Kim K has never came out and professed anything that I've heard.
I haven't either.
That I've heard. So Kim K is doing what Kim K has always done, right?
Man, Rob, don't drop it. Don't do a Hiroshima.
Right?
Don't do a Hiroshima.
Look, Kim K been about them assholes.
Hey, listen, I'm just telling y'all. We invite anybody that wants to jump on here.
That's her identity.
Anybody that wants to come on here and entertain the conversation.
Look, if y'all
next week,
in the hot seat,
y'all are welcome to be in the hot seat, and we can talk it out. I'm just saying, have your stats and statistics ready.
Look,
because when you want to go, we're gonna go to war about it.
If you can fit right here, you can sit in this hot seat.
No, one of us we'll rearrange the table again.
Yeah, we want all the smoke.
I'll miss
because y'all been in the comment sections hard, but best believe that we want all the smoke.
So guys,
you need to do your research. That's the thing about me is I do all the research. I'm telling you, I watch a lot of videos.
I know. Rob be like, you didn't watch that video? I'm like, Rob, that video was 3 hours long.
Hey, here's some new news.
He's like, yeah, I was sitting in my tub with my TV on the wall.
You messaged you. He got 656 unread messages.
Yeah.
319 missed calls. Hey, it's got to be a world record.
Listen.
He got 600.
Sorry if you've been trying
56
to... think about this.
Unread message.
This is why you got to do something about it, bro. What if you was missing $3 million right there?
Oh, no, but listen. What y'all got to understand
but listen.
No.
That don't make you nervous looking at that?
It makes me nervous answering the phone calls. Listen.
But what about your messages?
All I'm saying is, do you realize messages and phone calls, 95% of them is somebody asking me for something?
Yeah.
That's right.
95% of them are people with their hands out asking me, hey, look, can I have this? Can you come over here and do this? Can you come do this? And ask me if they're trying to pay me or help me on my side.
That's why you got to have a sifter.
Hey, you see what I'm saying?
So she shows her butt and he does interviews drunk and cussing, which is worse than. We're not trying to. We're not comparing evil to evils. What we're saying is because is that right for him to go in front of the world and act like that? No.
Well, one thing,
but I am surprised that he ain't done something crazier by now.
Oh yeah,
I'm surprised.
We just said we don't agree with everything he does.
Yeah.
We just said that
with the weight, with him coming into that situation and fighting like he has, and the weight of the world literally on his shoulders. I don't know how I would react if I got a text message that said, "Look, you lost $2 billion." Today.
Well, and I think, you have to think all creative people are semi crazy, right?
Yes.
All the geniuses. If you go back,
let's just be honest then. Okay, he's drinking right on television. Is that what he's doing?
Yeah.
Is he drunk?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see it, so I'm just asking.
I didn't see one.
I have an unbiased opinion because.
He said just we drinking nothing but Douce.
Where at?
But I'm saying, is he drunk?
I mean, he seemed.
All I'm asking you is, and I'm asking you because like you're going to tell me the truth. All I'm asking you is, in your perception, did you think he was drunk?
No.
Okay. I didn't watch that.
I don't think so.
So, is it a sin to drink?
No.
All right. Is it a sin to cuss?
No.
So, what are we saying here?
They're talking about his actions.
That's what I'm saying.
That's how it is.
But what I'm saying,
but also, what fruit is
he producing when he acts like it? That's what I get that. I understand. And wrong is wrong. I admit that.
He said yes, he was. No, there's no way that you can have a conversation on that level and be drunk. I promise you.
That's what I'm saying.
The people that were interviewing him, they were wet, super wet, bro. He 3 hours and 15 minutes long, right? Yeah. That's a long interview. And
we'll back it up with scripture real quick before you go on. Blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, nor sit in the seat of sinners, or sit in the seat of scoffers, but his delight is in the law of the Lord.
Hold on, Reverend.
On his law, he meditates day and night.
On his law, he meditates day and night. He is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in its season. Yes, Kanye was wrong. I admit that. Kanye was wrong, whether he was drinking them. He's an icon. He's a representative of the Christian world.
Amy said, "Hold on. This is the thing is Amy said it ain't a sin to cuss? Question mark? Reverend.
I mean, show me in the Bible where it says cuss.
Reverend.
Y'all are wild.
Reverend, answer the question.
Show me in the Bible where
is it a sin to cuss? I got to work on my wife.
It says
we're gonna have we're having a bathtub meeting tonight.
Out of the mouth, the overflow of the heart. But it never says. You got to think about it. The English language. Excuse my language.
Perception
the F word,
is everything.
The F word.
The F word.
The F word. Yeah. The S word. All those words. They was created like in the 16th century.
This is what I'm going to do for Christians. I'm going to remake King David's life and show you what a real Christian looks like. Look,
you can't say that.
You're gonna be confused.
You can't say that. I'm saying you can't say
confused,
that,
bro.
That's what I get.
King
it.
Solomon had 1,000. Man, had 1,000 on the side.
They get it twisted, man.
Hey, King Solomon had 1,000 on the side, bro.
Yeah,
look, I said that. Think about the way that they are attacking Kanye, right? Do you know that Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior?
Man,
Amy said, "Well, F." No, that's right. Hey, so look, so the way that they are attacking Kanye, Jesus Christ, our Savior, man, he came and he shook things up, right?
Man,
resistance. He came and he said what nobody else was saying.
Resistance, bro.
Right? They hated him. They hated him so much that they hung him on a cross for the things that he said.
Resistance.
He said he's God.
Resistance.
Right?
Resistance.
They said he's God.
Resistance.
He shook it up. He was all over the media of that time.
Resistance.
Right? He came in looking like a hero, but then got hung on a cross.
Resistance.
That's the person that you call your savior.
Resistance.
So you're gonna give me
the
okay to cuss people out, Pastor?
No.
Didn't nobody say? He said, you said is it a sin to cuss, not cuss people out? It's two different things.
Man, listen.
If I
These
use
are
my
friendly.
vocabulary.
Look, don't get it twisted. We're all debating. Like at the end of the day, we love our wives. We're just saying like we have a viewpoint.
I gotta teach mine some things.
We got a viewpoint, and I stand on mine. Yeah, I'll stand on it.
Yeah, I want to cuss at people.
I have a viewpoint.
It's
I stand
okay.
on it.
Look, that's okay for wanting to cuss at people.
So think about someone that goes against the box, right? So let's just the agenda. Let's just say what now seems radical. Let's just say everybody eats at McDonald's, but somebody farms. Well, the guy now that farms seems abnormal, right?
Yeah, 100%.
He seems anti whatever the establishment,
anti
just easy, normal.
Anti-urban.
But he's actually the smart one.
Anti-urban.
But everybody looks at him like he's the dumb one. Like, man, why are you planting all this?
It's not okay.
Why are you planting all these veggies? Why are you doing all this? Why are you doing this? Well, he looks abnormal until McDonald's closes down. And until the end, where his garden is still growing. Right?
Hey, look, people used to tell me, they used to call me crazy and be like, "Man, how you're living your life is unrealistic. You're working two jobs or 3 jobs. Yeah. You're lifting weights. You're getting 5 hours of sleep, man. That ain't realistic.
It's not okay because
it ain't gonna work out. I don't
want to hold those kinds of words. You don't have to hold those kind of words in your heart. That's the thing. Let's go back to the premise. The premise. Is it a sin to
I know
cuss?
Y'all be having interesting arguments at home. Already
I got to talk to her through here. Because if it was in real life, you know how them sparks be flying?
Yeah. when metal hits concrete.
Yeah. So it's not a sin to cuss. Now, I would say, is it wise? Definitely not. Especially if you're going to talk at a high school, it's not good to stand up there and cuss.
Look, I used to think I'm just being, and this is, I mean, take it for what it is. Like, I'm just saying, I used to think. Look, no, I'm saying, I used to think. Look, okay. For example, I was sitting in class one day, and this is where I became legalistic. Like, whenever I started to become legalistic, I heard one time I heard Dante say a cuss word in class.
I bet it stunned you.
And I remember thinking, I'm like, why is he cussing in class?
How dare
him? And he approached me the same way. He was like, so you're telling me just because I said a cuss word that I'm not a Christian?
Man.
And it hit me, and I'm like, I can't keep putting my project myself or my belief on him. Like, I just can't.
That's right.
Show me in the Bible where it says you can't cuss. Like, he said that to me. So what am I supposed to say? Like, I mean, like, I'm just saying.
Hey, man, the thief says, well, at least I don't kill.
Rob did the whole facial.
Hey, he did the fingers and everything.
That was a layup. You're supposed to finish it.
So, and so.
You're supposed to finish it.
The thief says, at least I don't kill. What else?
Forgive me?
No, the killer says, at least I don't steal.
Yeah, right?
The thief says,
at least I don't.
No, hold on. It says,
you dropped the ball.
The dealer says, at least I don't steal. The thief says, at least I don't kill. The killer says, at least I don't rape women. The rapist says, at least I don't rape children.
Wow.
So evil looks good by the standard that we use.
Wow, that's powerful. So let me finish what I was saying. So whenever I heard that from Dante and it shocked me, if I would have held captive that thought, I wouldn't have received the blessings that he gave me later on down the road.
That's it.
Yeah, you would have.
I wouldn't have been listening. I would have dismissed everything he said from then on.
Also, but in that season, though, you got to think about where you was at in that season. Ever since that moment, you have changed season, so you're able to see it from a different perspective and a different lens.
And that's what I'm saying,
because maturity is happening.
And that's what I'm saying. So therefore, like, if I would have took it for what it was, how Amy is saying that, it would have been like, hey, X, Y, and Z. Then those next 2 years that I was under Dante, listening to what he was telling me,
you would have never got it.
I would have never got it. I would have never got it.
Yeah, you would have shut him completely out.
I would have just shut him completely out.
Yeah.
And in those seasons, I learned some of the best things about myself, even if he was directing towards me and made me feel a certain type of way. Like, I wouldn't have grown at that certain point. So, I mean...
Yeah. So be careful, man. You never
take it
know
for what it is, man.
Blessing is going to come from.
Yeah, take it for what it is.
We got to go. We've been on here for a while.
See you next week. What?
They don't want to get off here.
There's a bunch of trunk or treatings going on.
Check your kids' candy.
Yeah, check your kids' candy. I've never came across something bad in any of my kids' bags, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
Man, I got a piece of candy last night out of my kids' candy bucket, and I feel like it was candy from 3 years ago.
It was expired.
Yeah,
people do be.
They had it from Trunk or Treat from 2019.
Do you reuse it?
They was like, all right, 2021 and 2020, we didn't have it because of COVID. So we this is pandemic candy.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
So, hey, go check out the Trunk
Where
or
is the Trunk or
Treat?
Treat at?
Legacy Church is having one,
Tonight?
I believe. I don't know when it is. Look it up. Legacy Church. Duke and Best, I believe that there's a Trunk or Treat there. Anywhere else? His church,
Pleasant Grove
tonight, I think. Pleasant Grove.
I heard they was having one.
Is Pleasant Valley?
They already had theirs.
Okay, yeah. So there's a bunch going on,
1,500
this
people
weekend. Plus, there is a championship game going on this weekend at Wayman Morris Park. My boy Reggie Baxter and the Saints.
Baxter, I'm a beater.
They're playing the Jaguars. So
what time is it? I gotta get a haircut.
3
I gotta go.
All right, see y'all next week.
Yep.
All right, good talk.
What
I got
time?
2 words
1 o'clock
as we leave. F you.
Dang. Golly.
He meant that.
He was saving that for when he got